Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors. Welcome everyone. This is the free astrotheology course. Our textbook is the Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained, published in 1892. And the author is Carl Anderson. So we're still in chapter 13. And remember, chapter 13 is dealing with the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. So this is talking about the sameness of the planets and the personalities, phenotypes, which means the way you look, your facial features, height, stature, thin, heavy, muscular, etc. Um, so as above, so below. All right. So by observing the planets as our ancestors did over how many millions, billions, who knows, however many years, recording, uh, uh, recording their observations in terms of the uh, celestial bodies, in terms of their position over the years, right, over huge amounts of time, and their effects on personality, their effects on phenotype, um, and then also, of course, weather and all of these things. But in chapter 13, we're specifically dealing with facial features, uh, body type, phenotype, and of course, personality. Okay, and then illnesses that are common to each. All right, to each planet. So let's get back to it, y'all. Let's get back to it. I hope you find this interesting, showing the Hermetic laws, how they relate to astrology or astronomy, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, let's pick it up. Uh, we're going to begin on, I think we stopped on Mercury, y'all. I don't remember. These last few days have been so hectic in my life. So y'all bear with me. Uh, let's make it do what it do. Let's just pick it up on page. I'm thinking we stopped on Mercury. So let's pick it up on Mercury, okay? I remember now. Yeah, let's pick it up on page 160, last paragraph. All right, last paragraph. So I remember now. Actually, we covered that, but I want to go back because I want to show you some of the information as it relates to Mercury that we're going to find in some of these cases. Okay, I want to give you some examples from these cases that I got off of enforcetheconstitution.org. Okay. Also, whatever, if I have the treaty with me, um, so whatever we need to go into, we'll cover it. I'll show it. Okay. So what's the point? What's the point? To show the constitutional law principles, the international law principles, the natural law principles in astrology. Okay, so we're showing the intersection or the integration, right? The integration, the synergies, the correlations, etc., between astrology, the Hermetic laws, constitutional, international law, so on and so forth. Okay, that's the point. So page 160. Page one. And by the way, these cases, this is not my work. Anybody can go to enforce the. Let me show you the website in fact. enforcetheconstitution.org, and y'all can download this yourself. All of the cases are there. I'm trying to inspire you to go to the website and download these cases, okay? All right. So enforcetheconstitution.org. Can y'all see that? That's where you want to go. Enforcetheconstitution.org. And of course, it's going to look different on your, I'm using a cell phone. All right. So this is where you want to go. And then start downloading and print this and get it bound, okay? And then study. And then study. So let me, if y'all want to contact the Council General, hold on. You can, he has contact us page. Y'all see that? Just go in the menu, and you'll find that he does consultations and all of that kind of stuff. Or if you want to support, y'all can contact and do so this way. Okay, y'all? All right. So let's get into it. Mercury, y'all, Mercury is a doozy. Now remember, Mercury, it's funny because I met someone very strange. I met someone named Messi today. Messi. And it was a child, actually. A child named Messi, Messi. So y'all should be able to put that together, right? Messi, Messiah. I'm not going to go in here, but we saw that in this book. So that's one of the family of words uh, from which comes Messiah or messenger, who is Mercury. Okay, it tripped me out when this person told me his name was Messi. Messi. It was the first time I ever met somebody with that name that I'm aware of, that I'm conscious of, right? And I'm dealing with Mercury right now. You know, my intention was to show this. I thought it was not a coincidence. Okay, anyway, let's pick it up. Page 160, last paragraph, okay? So the astronomical character of the planet Mercury is, let me show y'all this. At some point, y'all, at some point I'll start doing this in StreamYard or back on Zoom. I'm just tired of Zoom. I'm tired of Zoom, and then StreamYard for me is a bit cumbersome. And yeah, I'm just sick of it. You know, I wish I had a better option, but I don't. Hold on. So let me show you Mercury. Okay, here's Mercury. So the half circle. Hold on, 1 second. So the half circle at the top, that can be wings or horns. Okay, wings or horns. So Mercury having the wings, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll show you. All right. See, okay. So this is the Mercury, the deity. Y'all see his wings? All right. So enough of that. I just showed you the astronomical character, icon, or symbol for the planet Mercury. Mercury is called Hermes, so we just saw that. Horned or winged messenger of the gods. Of the gods. Messenger of the gods. That's with an S. That's plural, not one God. Okay? Keep that in mind. So we have to pay attention to the details. To the details. And let me relate that back to the Elohim. Plural. Plural. Okay? Plural. 1 second. What did I was going to show y'all something. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so here's Mercury or Hermes with the wings on his helmet. Y'all see that? That's where that's coming from. So let me see if I can find a picture with Hermes with horns. Let's see. Right. Uh, so not horns, but wings again. I don't see with horns. 1 second. Oh, maybe this is it. No. Hold on. Here's another one. Here's another one with wings. Hold on. Oh well. I don't want to spend too much time. Y'all can search it for yourself, okay? You can search it for yourself. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So, Mercury, who is Hermes, rules over the thought and intellect or reasoning faculty or reasoning power or powers. Hermes rules over the mind or soul. So I'm not going to go through mind and soul again, but let me just say this. Soul, soul, is a concept that the Catholics made up from the word soul in Latin, soul, which simply means sun, the sun. Okay, that's all it means. So sun sun, of course, means son. Excuse me, same meaning, same meaning. So we have a soul, a soul, a sun in us that keeps us warm and facilitates life, facilitates our having life, keeps us warm so that we can, uh, so that our biochemical reactions and everything can take place. So we have metabolism and all of these things. Same function that the sun in the sky, the sun, the sun in the sky provides for the earth and everything. So as above, so below, as below, so above. The law of correspondence. We also have a SOL or sun in us that provides the same function for our physical body, okay, and everything that's symbiotic with us, right? So there are organisms that are living on us and inside of us in our gut, right? The microbiome in our gut. and then our interaction with the environment and with Earth. So we produce waste, right? Both feces, urine, and the air that we exhale is also waste. So there's an interaction between us and the Earth, right? Feces and urine, they go back into the Earth. They get cleansed through water and stuff like that. All right, so it's performing the same function. But the point here is the Hermetic Law. The first Hermetic Law, all is mind. All is mind. The universe exists in the mind of the all. Okay, that's all thought, all intelligence, all imagination, all intellect, all awareness, all consciousness. Okay, and that's vibrating at different rates of vibration. And so there we have the Hermetic Law of vibration. Okay, there we have the Hermetic Law of vibration. Okay, so all is mind. So Hermes, Mercury rules over the mind, thought, thought. Man is thought made manifest from the land. Man is thought made manifest from the soil, right? And then that clothing, that soil, the land that we are clothed in or made manifest from looks to us like flesh. Okay, it looks to us like flesh. Everybody see this? I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. So thought contains or conveys messages. Thought conveys messages. Reasoning is thought. Imagination is thought. Imagination is truly your God faculty. Let me say it again. Imagination is truly your God faculty. Right, y'all? Right? Of course, of course. So we should develop the discipline of relaxing our minds, get our brain waves relaxed down to about 7 to 14. I think it's 7 to 14. Um, about 7 to 14, the alpha state. And then use our mind, our imagination to create the situation and circumstances that we want. Okay, now that's a discipline. Not everybody, it takes discipline and training to do it and to do it consistently. Okay, it's not just regular meditation. That's something totally different. It's something totally different. But anyway, I hope you considered Psalms 83:6. All of you are gods. Sons, S-O-L, in Latin, S-U-N, and S-O-N. All of you are sons of the Most High. Okay, y'all? All right? Now, let's continue. So Hermes rules over thought, intellect, reason, your reasoning faculty, your reasoning powers. This would include what? Your ability to plan, your reticular activating system, so on and so forth. All right? It continues. Scholars, I would like for you to remember this. Okay, I would like for you to remember everything that we just talked about before we move forward. Make an effort to remember these things. So let's continue. Mercury rules directly over the brain. So the brain is the tissue. The brain is the tissue. Let me make it clear. Now here's the big debate, and there's really no debate. See, there are many scientists who will say that that the mind and the brain are the same, that the mind exists inside of the brain. And they do that because it's an alibi to not respect natural law, specifically birthrights, specifically birthrights and sovereignty, not sovereign citizen, but sovereignty, as expressed in the Declaration of Independence. But the ability, sovereignty meaning the ability of every man and woman to do whatever he wants to do and govern himself. Not be lawless, but to govern himself and abide by universal laws. Okay? His right not to be in bondage. So this is the brain. This is the brain. Okay? So one school of thought says that the brain and the mind are one. Another school of thought says that the brain is something separate from the mind. All right? Something separate from the mind. So Mercury rules over the brain. All right. So Mercury directly rules over the brain, um, as aptly stated by the teacher. After casting out evil spirits, so I went through this in the previous video, the video before this one, so I'm not going to go through this one in detail. After casting out the evil spirits, or listen, y'all, or magnetically curing the insane. So evil spirits and insane people are spoken of as though they're the same. After casting out the evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane. So those are two equivalent statements. If someone is insane, if someone is crazy, they're said to have what? An evil spirit. So an evil spirit means you're crazy. You lost your mind. He saith, quote unquote, what will a man give in exchange for his soul? Soul. Now, let's go back up just a few lines. It says here, Hermes rules over the thought and intellect or reasoning faculty or powers, the mind or soul. So mind and soul are being used synonymously. In other words, like they say in Vietnam, mind, same, soul. same, right? Same thing. So the mind is the soul, and the soul is the mind. Let me state it differently. Thought, intellect, reasoning faculty, power of reasoning is the soul, soul. All right? Is the soul. Is the mind, Quote unquote, what will a man give in exchange for his mind? What will a man give in exchange for his mind? That means if you're crazy, what are you willing to give? What will you give to be healed, to be cured, to be returned to your normal state of mind? Let's say you're not crazy. Let's say your reasoning ability, your reasoning faculty no longer functions properly. You're irrational. What will you give to return to normal. What will a man give in exchange for his mind? That's a very different meaning than what we're taught in religion. What will a man give in exchange for his soul? Soul. That most of us have been taught leaves the body at death, which is not true, based upon the reasons I've already discussed with you. Some of us also believe what? I know in the religion that I was in, they taught that the soul is just the flesh because the animals are said to be souls, living souls. So it's just the flesh. Okay? So what will a man give if he's crazy? Or if his reasoning faculty is not working right? If he has a demon, if he has evil spirits, what will he give to return to his normal state of mind where he's no longer clinically crazy, where his ability to reason has been returned to normal? What will he give? That's a heck of a question. I can answer it for you. He'll give everything he has, and he'll try to take everything you got to give it also, right? To have your mind return to normal. Okay? So, all right, y'all. So let's continue. Imagine this. Imagine this. You have a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, uh, and you can't move some part of your body, or you can't hear, you can't taste, you can't smell, you can't see. What will you give in order to have that repaired and restored back to normal? So if you couldn't hear, now you can hear. If you couldn't smell, now you can smell. If you couldn't taste, now you can taste. If you couldn't see, now you can see. Well, let me ask the question a different way. Mark 4, the historical Jesus said this: I speak to them in parables, so that although having eyes to see, they cannot perceive, and ears to hear, they cannot understand. What will you give in exchange for your eyesight to perceive what you're looking at? What will you give to understand what you're hearing? What will a man give in exchange for his soul? What will you give to get out of bondage? What will you give to get out of bondage? Okay, let's continue. So the author continues with that question: what will a man give in exchange for his soul? In parentheses, it says, namely his reason. What will a man give in exchange for his reason to restore his reason? Or unafflicted brain power? Jesus cursed you. The historical Jesus cursed you. I believe it's in Mark chapter 4. What will you give in exchange for your reason so that you can see and hear and perceive and understand? So that you can have your eyes recoupled with your mind and your ears recoupled with your mind. Okay? Have your normal brain function restored. Mercury is he that the ancients called Bud, Bhud. Sounds like Buddha, doesn't it? Bud, the Messiah. Ah, that's where I saw it. The little boy I met, y'all see that? Ace, capital R, Rab. Okay, so that's two words, a Rab, or Rabbi, or Rabbi, a wandering teacher, a wandering teacher. Okay, Mercury is a wandering teacher. All right, anyway, let's continue. Mercury loves solitude. Well, absolutely, right? You need to be alone in order to think and imagine. You need to be alone in order to go to uh, the workshop of your mind, right? You need to be alone to meditate. You need alone to be alone to ponder. Okay, let's continue. And desert places, and often to be alone. The Arabians, now y'all remember the original Arabians in history, the historical or the ancient Arabians or Moors, as well versed in astrological lore and in the highest order of mathematics. Absolutely, because you need to have a mastery of the highest levels of mathematics to navigate, right? Navigating using the stars, geometry, and from which much learning has emanated. So, in other words, not just mathematics, architecture, engineering, uh, chemistry, material sciences, you name it, medicine, law, linguistics, you name it, literature, you name it. And as they were nomadic and thought, as they constantly moved from desert to oasis, now this is not true. The Arabs did not do that. Maybe in later times, as a result, as I've mentioned before, as a result of conquest and being forced to move in more modern times, it continues. And also, you should connect this to the Yaqub story. Y'all should connect it to the Yaqub story. Okay, let's continue. Ever changeful. So the Arabs were always in a state of emotion and changing. They were not stable, going one place from another. Let me ask y'all. Common sense tells you that a person who is constantly moving around from one desert to another, searching for food, searching for shelter, searching for water, they don't have time for intellectual pursuits, right? Trying to stay alive at night, trying to stay alive during the day. In terms of the wild animals, they were called and still retain the name Arabs, as they were an offshoot of the great Eastern astrological teacher and also descended from Abram. Okay, so they're acknowledging that the Arabs come from the bloodline of Abraham and that they would have learned astrology from Abraham. And I think it's, what's that? I think it's Josephus who says that Abraham taught the Egyptians astrology. Now, those of y'all who follow my work, I've shown that Josephus's works uh, are not true because the Israelites never went back uh, to the land of Israel. They never went back. It would have been impossible to go back. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video that I did with Sanetta. Abrahamic, all Abrahamic religions are a hoax or a fraud or something like that. Watch that. I think it's on my homepage on this YouTube channel. Just watch it and you'll see why. Okay, let's continue. As they were constantly at war and pillaging. See, when you're constantly at war, pillaging meaning robbing people, you don't have time for intellectual pursuits. Okay? Not only do you not have time for it, but that's not even your mindset. People who war and pillage, they're not interested in academics. They are designated as coming by their knowledge unlawfully. In other words, they robbed somebody and got the knowledge, right? They came by unlawfully. He just said that they were pillagers and warlike. So, scholars, who does it sound like he's talking about? Who do we know to be warlike and pillagers? Of course, uh, Yaqub's Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, the Hanumans, the humans, the monsters. Okay, they are warlike to this day. Also pillagers rather. Let's continue. Venus rules over the sacred day of the Arabians, which is Friday. Venus is called Al Hazi. If y'all old enough to remember, the elders back in the 90s, as far as early as I can remember, as late as I can remember. The last time I heard hussy was my mother. She would call a woman a hussy in a minute, a hussy in a minute. So Venus is called Al-Hazza, now vulgarized into the English language as a hussy or lewd woman, or an unlawful wife. An unlawful wife. Abram is described as driving his concubine into the desert and deserting her and her son. But the Lord of prophecies, let me repeat that, but the Lord prophesies that Ishmael shall become, quote unquote, a nation. A nation. Y'all, what is a nation? What's a nation? A nation, according to Dr. John Henry Clark, it's a bloodline of people connected to or associated with a specific landmass, having a common heritage. So that would be economics, commerce, uh, cuisine, etc. So what are we dealing with here? Ishmael shall become a nation, countless as the sands of the sea, a multitude. Well, nations deal with one another. Nations deal with one another. In other words, bloodlines deal with one another through intercourse, through commerce, through international law, through treaties. And nations govern each other through constitutions. They govern commerce through constitutions. Commerce is intercourse. So now we're dealing with civics. But civics is all up and down the book of the law, the Biblioheliotext. It's all up and down it, right? Okay, next. As Mercury seldom gets far from the SUN sun, from the SOL, even the SON, right? As Mercury never gets far from the SUN sun and is never seen except at twilight or at early daybreak, Mercury is truly, quote unquote, dwelling in the bosom of the Father. Let me show y'all this. So we're going to take a look at Mercury's position relative to the sun, okay? me 1 second. Here we are. I want to get one with the name. Give me a second, y'all. I want to show one with the names of the planets. Hold on. I'm looking for a picture that has the positions of the planets with their names. Here we are. There we are. It's perfect. So here you see Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. So what does it mean? Mercury has the shortest orbit, so Mercury is moving the fastest. Hence, Mercury or Hermes is very fast, a very fast runner, has wings, right, y'all? Has wings. Why? Because it's faster than the other planets. In other words, it has a shorter orbit than the other planets. So therefore, it goes around the SUN sun faster than any other planet. It's also the closest planet to the sun. Therefore, Mercury is said to be in the bosom of the Father. The Father is the SUN sun. If you've seen the Father, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So JC is the sun, is the SUN sun. And if you've seen JC, you've seen the Father. Why? Because they're both the SUN sun. Y'all see it? Because Mercury is so fast, Mercury is said to be the messenger. Y'all got it? So the messenger. As a matter of fact, let me go back and read what it said. It says, Hermes, the winged messenger of the gods. So now y'all looking at the gods. You are looking at the gods right now. Okay, you are looking at the gods right now. All right. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. The aspects of Mercury are very important, and the judgment formed over a nativity or birth chart, nativity chart, birth chart, are very important. Oops, hold on. And the nativities formed over, and the judgment formed over a nativity chart, birth chart, from the aspects of Mercury with other planets shows conclusively, that means ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or buts, shows conclusively whether the person is morally good or morally bad. So we don't deal with issues of morality because they change, they vary depending on where you're at in the world. Okay? So we should deal with higher self and lower self. Okay? Whether you are a higher self person or a lower self person. In other words, what is that, y'all? What is that? Whether you are the Christ, most of the time, your character, or whether you are a Satan, meaning you are an opposer of good. You are an opposer of enlightenment. You are an opposer of light. You're evil. You're bad. You're a devil. Y'all see it? This is the law of opposites, the Hermetic law of polarity. The Hermetic law of polarity. So, everybody remember that. Okay? The aspects of Mercury are very important. Now you see why they're very important, right? And the judgment formed over a nativity from the aspects of Mercury with other planets planets shows conclusively whether the person is higher self most of the time or lower self most of the time. Thus Mercury sitteth on the right hand of the Father. Y'all heard that? Thus Mercury sitteth on the right hand of the Father, meaning what? The judgments formed over the nativity from the aspects of Mercury with other planets shows conclusively whether the person is higher self or lower self. Thus Mercury sitteth on the right hand of the Father. That's what that means. Thus Christ sits on the right hand of the Father and shall act as a judge. And shall act as a judge and show in regard to a person in question whether he or she shall be saved or accused. So the righteous shall be saved, and the wicked shall be exterminated. So the higher self, man or woman, shall be saved, and the lower self, devil and Satan, will be exterminated. So make your correlation. Go back to Mark 4, when Jesus told his apostles why he always speaks to the people, to the common people, the outsiders, the profane, meaning that they are not enlightened, meaning that they see religious doctrine. They're disconnected from nature and natural law. So they're profane. They're operating on a belief system. So they are profane, according to the story. JC said, I speak to them in parables so that they will never have a chance to repent and therefore cannot be saved. In other words, so that they will remain debtors and can never become a creditor. Let me state it differently. So that they will remain in bondage so that they can never recover their heritage and their birthright. So that they'll never know who they are. So that they will always break the Most High's commandments. That's what's happening here. Y'all see that? Thus he sitteth on the right hand of the Father and shall act as judge. Y'all see that? The relationship to that in Mark chapter 4. So you're going to get a judgment of death. Thus he sitteth on the right hand of the Father and shall act as judge. Well, that ain't fair, is it? Because he set the situation up for you to get a negative judgment, for you to get a punishment. Or let's take it even further than that, for you to go to hell and burn in hell for eternity. He set the whole thing up. He spoke to you in parables, set you up. Do y'all see that? He set you up. It's not me saying it. It's not me saying it. Don't get mad at me. Okay, y'all. So it's Mark chapter 4, verse 12. But I'm going to go to, well, I'll show y'all this, but I'm going to get it from the Bible Hub. Y'all read that. Mark 4, verse 12. That seeing they may see and not perceive. So your eyes are uncoupled from your mind. Your eyes are physically in your brain. So your eyes are working. That seeing they may see, your eyes work. The anatomy and physiology with your eyes, your vision, everything's normal and not perceived. Huh. So your eyes have been uncoupled from your mind. And hearing, they may hear. That means the anatomy and physiology of your ears are normal. There's no anatomical or physiological reason that you should not hear. And hearing, they may hear and not understand. Now, there's a part of the brain. What is it called? I don't remember. Is it Wernicke's? Hold on, I'm going to come back to that. There's a part of the brain where you can hear language and not understand, but that's an anatomical injury that causes you to not understand what you're hearing. But I haven't thought about this in years and years and years, so I'm gonna have to look it up. But I'll share it with y'all. So your ears are working, your brain is normal, so you hear, but you don't understand. So now your ears are uncoupled from your mind. Now remember, man is thought made manifest from the soil. Man is thought, all is mind, right? Infinite intelligence, reasoning, intellect. Let's go back. Let's just take it through what this author says. Thought, intellect, reasoning faculty, reasoning powers. So we know man is thought made manifest. Mind. And Jesus in Mark chapter 4, verse 12, just disconnected you from that. In other words, he disconnected you from yourself. Disconnected you from yourself. Do y'all see it? The primary way we make our way through the world is through our eyesight. Next is through the ears. Jesus uncoupled both of those. The only thing you have left is your sense of smell, taste, and touch. Your eyes are unreliable. Your ears are unreliable. Y'all, we call that illusional and delusional. You're crazy. So therefore you have a what? Evil spirit. You have an evil spirit. Let's go back. Let's go back. The author writes here, after casting out the evil spirits, or after magnetically curing the insane. So the insane are people who have, or are said, the insane people are said to have an evil spirit. So if you're crazy, you're said to have an evil spirit. Nothing to do with a devil or ghost inhabiting you. Being crazy is called having an evil spirit. And I can see that, right? I can see why they would say it's having an evil spirit. Because you're out of your mind. And there's nothing beautiful and happy about that. So now, let me say this, and y'all listen. JC in Mark chapter 4, verse 12, just publicly admitted on the public record that he's giving people an evil spirit. In other words, he's making people crazy. It's on the public record. Mark chapter 4, verse 12. That seeing they may not see. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. That seeing they may see, that means the eyes work, and not perceive. And hearing they may hear and not understand. Lest at any time they should be converted. Now, I'm going to show you a different translation because they inserted converted here, so you wouldn't understand what he's talking about. And their sins should be forgiven them. Why would they write lest? Lest at any time they should be converted. But what does it take to be converted, y'all? Why are they using such confusing language? Well, it's clear because they're trying to hide from you what JC just said. And their sins should be forgiven. As a matter of fact, let me try to do something simple. Hold on. Let me see if y'all read this. Lest, for fear that, they should be converted. For fear that they should be converted. In other words, he doesn't want you to be converted. He doesn't want you to repent, right? Christians will tell you in a hot second that you need to accept Christ and repent to have your sins forgiven. So he ain't telling you nothing straightforward for fear that you might repent. Let me say it differently. He ain't telling you nothing straightforward because he does not want you to repent, because he does not want you to be saved. What happens if you're saved? Well, what happens? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. You get your birthright back. You get your heritage and your birthright back. You get your land back. You get your nobility back. That's what happens. That's what happens. All right. Now, y'all see, it's not me telling you this. Look what the English, look at the Cambridge Dictionary. The Cambridge Dictionary says, for fear that, or in order to prevent them from converting. See, scholars, this is a dual meaning. This is a dual meaning where the masses of people, those who are on the outside of the house, the worshipers, have been told a rosy romantic story that Jesus wants them to be saved. And he's given his life on behalf of them so that they can be saved. But there's another story for the priesthood. And this is the story for the priesthood that they're not telling you. And it's the extreme opposite. It's the extreme opposite of what they told you. I'm talking about the dark priesthood. So you relate this to Jeremiah 8, verse 8, the dark priesthood, the priestcraft, the Freemasons, Knights Templar, etc., etc., etc. All right. So hermetically, again, this would be the law of opposites, the law of polarity. Okay. And you'll see that. You'll see them using the law of polarity frequently. Okay, y'all. Now let me show you this. Let's go back to Mark 4:12. We'll go Bible Hub, okay? And keep in mind, we're dealing with civics. We're dealing with civics and our heritage, not religion. Ah, so y'all know turn. One of the meanings of repent is turn, right? Turn away from the bad. Don't do it no more. All of that. Uh, New International Version. I'm going to show it before I read it. Hold on. At the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for life. Otherwise, in other words, see, otherwise means change direction. So let's change direction so that they may be ever seeing and always perceiving, so that they may be ever hearing and always understanding. Okay? And then they would do what? They can repent and be saved. But here it says, otherwise, they might turn, they might repent and be forgiven. So JC is telling you he does not want you to be forgiven. Let's get it in a Bible version that more people respect. Some people don't respect NIV. Give me 1 second. So I'm saying return quite often. Amplified Bible. Y'all look at the Amplified Bible. Look how they phrase it. Now, why don't they just write repent? I'm talking about all of these translations. Might turn, turn, might turn, turn. Y'all read that. Here's how the Amplified Bible reads it, renders it rather. So that they will continually look but not see, and they will continually hear but not understand. Otherwise, they might, might means you got a shot, you got a possibility. They might, so he wants to even take away your possibility, even if it's one in a billion. They might, he just took that away. They might turn from their rejection of the truth and be forgiven. That's why he spoke to you in parables. And y'all don't get mad at me. I'm just showing you what's really happening. I'm showing you how these dark priests, how the priestcraft gets down. This is how they get down: lying, conniving, and deceiving. And then they got the nerve to get a tithe, 10%. Some of them had a nerve to get two tithes, stripping you of your finance. Let me see if I can find repentance anywhere in here. But it's clear JC does not want your sins to be forgiven, which means you're going to burn in hell if that's your doctrine. It ain't got nothing to do with you, how you live. There's no way out for you. I hope y'all see this. You're doomed. There's no way out. Do you think if JC doesn't want you to know, you think his followers, his apostles are going to tell you? No. Here we are. NET Bible. Finally, we get an honest. Finally, we get an honest. Finally, y'all, we get an honest rendering. I got a screenshot. Y'all read the NET. Read the NET. Say, I don't have anything to hide from you. If you don't like me for whatever reason, at least respect the content. NET Bible. So that although they look, they may not look. Hold on, y'all. Let me do that again. NET Bible. So that although they look, they may look but not see. And although they hear, they may hear but not understand. So they may not repent and be forgiven. So means so. When he says so, he's telling you his reason, his purpose. NET Bible, y'all read that. Read it again. NET Bible, Mark chapter 4, verse 12. So that although they may look but not see. And although they hear, they may hear but not understand. So, or for the purpose of, so they may not repent and be forgiven. Well, to be forgiven means to be what? To be saved. So you are a dead man walking. If you believe the religious doctrine. Is that the reality? No, but that's the reality for you. Okay? You gotta remember, these are spellings. Spellings, that means curses. These are curses. These are spellings. These are spells. The God spell. And God is not the uh, creator of the boundless universe, infinite intelligence. No, God is Odin, is Woden, etc. Okay, Thoth. Some people say Thoth. That actually, I shouldn't say that. There are some people who say that Odin. Let me show y'all Odin. I showed y'all Odin once before, but they say Odin. Odin is Thoth. Let me see. The modern spelling of Odin is God. Okay. All right. 10 facts about Odin, the All Father, Norse god of war and wisdom. See, this is what you're talking about. Okay, now y'all can get this information out of the Devil's Pulpit by Robert Taylor. The link is in the description area of this video. It's a free PDF, so go ahead and get it. All right. So, let me show you Odin. So these are images of Odin. So when you pray to God, this is who you're praying to. Odin, Woden. The modern day spelling is G-O-D. G-O-D is the modern day spelling of Odin and Woden, so on and so forth, okay? Here's a good one. See, these are the European gods that you knew, that our ancestors knew nothing about, that you need to let go, all right? These are the European gods that our ancestors knew nothing about. Now, oh, hold on, I remember. There's something else I want to share. I hope I can get, I'm going to try to give you some, uh, let's see. Before I speak, let me see if I can get it. Delusion, no, hold on. Let's see if I have it. I hope I can find these terms. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. So I need a medical dictionary to give you. Let me, hold on. I may need a medical dictionary to give you the proper term, proper meaning. Let me try. Let me try a different way. Give me 1 second, y'all. One moment, please. Hold on. Hold on. Well, it's not on the regular, so I would need a medical dictionary. I'm trying to give you, trying to let you guys see the what illusional and delusional means. Let me try something different. Okay, auditory, that means your ears. Auditory hallucinations are often associated with schizophrenia and other mental health conditions, but they can happen for several other reasons, hearing loss, etc. All right. Researchers estimate, this is coming from the Cleveland Clinic, that 5 to 28% of the people in the United States experience auditory hallucinations. They're the most common type of hallucinations. Let's see. Hold on. One second. See if there's anything else about this. Auditory verbal hallucinations, hearing voices. Now, maybe I shouldn't do this, but when religious people tell me God said to them or the devil, whenever they're talking about a spirit talking to them, I believe them. I believe them because they might be telling the truth. The spirit said to me, auditory verbal hallucinations, hearing voices. An auditory verbal hallucination is the phenomenon of hearing voices in the absence of any speaker. The experience of hearing voices can vary greatly from person to person and even for the same person. So it's a different experience. Okay? The same person can experience it differently, and other people experience it differently than other people. They can vary in how often you hear them, what they say, and whether they're familiar or unfamiliar. Oh, you mean like a familiar spirit? Do you mean like a familiar spirit? Yeah. Do you mean that voice that gives you doubt? That voice that gives you doubt, that says things to you, and then you have to grapple and fight to overcome it? You have to use willpower to overcome it. So y'all know what this relates to? This relates to the Hermetic law of gender. The Hermetic law of gender. When someone has a weak mental masculine energy, in other words, they don't know their nationality. Why? Because the masculine energy is I am. If you don't know I am, who am I? Who am I? I am my mother's son. Okay? My son. I'm my son. We used to call our mother mom. I'm not a Freemason. I'm not a Mason. But who am I? I'm my mother's son. I'm my son. Now, a lot of y'all call y'all moms or mother mom. We called our mother mom. I'm my son. So who are you? I'm my son. Well, who is she? She was her mother's daughter. Y'all see? And it goes all the way down through what? Through your lineage, your bloodline, your genealogy. Y'all see it? And what is law? What is law? Well, if you look in the book called Ruin of Nations by Bologna, it's in the description area of this video. The etymology of law given in the book called Natural Law, inserted at the back of the Ruin of Nations, he's going to tell you that law is the instructions that are passed down through your family. In other words, the elders tell their heirs, and then those heirs, when they grow up, they tell their heirs, and all the kinfolk, they have the same instructions. They have the same instructions, just like the book of the law says, right? The father should pass the instructions down to his children. And then, of course, what? Honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers so that it may go well with you on the land that the Most High is giving you. In other words, follow the instructions, which means follow the laws that were given to you, that were passed down to you through the generations, so that it will go well with you on the land, not in the sky, not after you die, on the land. That means in your lifetime on this earth, so that it will go well with you, meaning that you would have full possession of your birthright, so that you would be able to enjoy your life and noble status. In other words, so you be able to enjoy your wealth. Yes, to be able to enjoy your riches and your wealth. That's what it's about. It's about land. It's about land, and then being able to pass that land and nobility to your heirs. Y'all see that? So when I hear a religious person say, God told me this and the Spirit said that, I believe it. And I hope you can see the wisdom. Well, let me not say that. Hope y'all give this some thought. You do whatever you want to do. I'm sharing the information with you. What you do with it is on you. The voices may come from a single source, such as a television, a television, television, or multiple sources. Like what? Like the New Testament, like any portion of the Biblio-Heliotext. Remember Jeremiah 8, verse 8. They wrote lies into the book of the law and turned it into a religious book. It can come from gospel music, the Godspell music, and the church, or CD, radio, YouTube, wherever you're listening to it. It can come in the form of what? Poetry. It can come in the form of a sermon, choir songs. It may be a singular voice or multiple voices. They may talk directly to the person, have discussions with the person, or describe events taking place. So y'all see, this is real serious stuff. And as I said, this is the Hermetic law of mental gender. This is one of the dynamics of it. So if you have a weak masculine mental energy, you don't know your nationality, you don't know the instructions. That's civics, y'all. That's civics. You don't have the instructions that were passed down from your family. That would include the That would include your heritage, right? How you act, or how you do commerce, how you intercourse with people in your nation and outside of your nation. You didn't have that. So now what? Someone who has a strong masculine mental energy can override your own masculine mental energy, which is what? Your great I am. The I am. Exodus chapter 3. Okay? So their masculine mental energy is going to block yours, overpower yours, and interact with your feminine mental energy, which is the equivalent of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind will produce what, y'all? The changes in your personality and in your habit life. So now the Moor becomes a nigger. And the Moorish woman develops the attitude of a prostitute, of a whore. And they think that they did it because they wanted to. They think it was their decisions, not knowing that their subconscious mind has been hijacked using the Hermetic law of gender. All right, and let me show y'all something. Man, I didn't get to what I wanted to get to. Uh, Using the Hermetic law of gender, this is the infamous, y'all, this is the infamous cuckoo bird. This is the infamous cuckoo bird who lays his eggs in another bird's nest. And each one of these cuckoo birds, each one that you're looking at right now, was its mother laid it in another bird's nest. When this egg hatched, it kicked out, literally throws out the eggs of the mother whose nest that is. Y'all got that? Kicks them out, throws them out of the nest. Of course, they're going to fall and the eggs are going to crack open. Those eggs, they're not going to be born alive. They're going to die. And then the mother, not knowing what happened, the mother thinks that the cuckoo egg is also her head. And she nurtures it. And she nurtures it. And this is exactly what's happening with that process that we just talked about. The Moorish heir growing up and adopting the mentality, behavior, and dress of a nigger, of a black, a colored, and the Moorish woman adopting the mindset, thoughts, behavior, and dress of a prostitute, of a whore. And they think that it's okay, and they made the decisions to live and be that way. And they don't have a clue of what actually really did in fact happen. They were engineered from birth using media, magazines, music, TV, cinema, right? Program. Also in the school, fake history books, fake science, everything around them fake. Using oppression, psych ops. Okay, y'all? Let me see if I can find a video to show where they actually kick a short video. Maybe this is it. Hold on. Let me see if this will show them kicking out the bird's eggs. So basically, so with you, you get kicked out of your Moorish status, right? They kick you out of your Moorish status. You become a nigger, a black, African American, anything else, and then they now grab your inheritance, grab your birthrights. Okay, y'all see it? Give me 1 second, y'all. The cuckoo hatches 3 days before the warbler chicks. Oh yeah. And within minutes, this blind, featherless baby gets rid of all the competition. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Here it is, though. Big bad bully. The cuckoo. Mom. Wait a minute. Big bad bully. The cuckoo. Mom isn't much of a home. Big bad bully. The cuckoo. Mom isn't much of a homemaker. She lays an egg in someone else's nest and then covers her tracks by stealing one of her host's eggs. The cuckoo egg, sitting at the front of the nest, is so well disguised that it fools the reed warbler into believing it's one of her own. The unsuspecting reed warbler is now mothering a future felon. The cuckoo hatches 3 days before the warbler chicks, and within minutes, this blind, featherless baby gets rid of all the competition. The cuckoo is tough enough to lift an egg almost as big as itself, and it does it right under its foster mom's nose. Then the poor old reed warblers end up feeding the imposter, even when it's 5 times bigger than they are. So do y'all see that? Y'all want to learn more about that? You can. By the way, this site that I just played is called Animal Planet. So y'all subscribe. I played this video. So y'all, if you like this, subscribe to Animal Planet. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll subscribe since I played it. All right. So y'all, you should read or get the audio book for the Hermetic Laws. You can get more about the cuckoo bird. How long have we been going? 96 minutes. So we'll keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right. So where are we? So y'all see how this has to do with civics? Can y'all see it? That this is civics? This is birthrights. So those so sad for those birds, right? That don't get the hatch. Okay. But anyway, let's continue. But that's a good example, right? Remember, that's masculine, mental, or that's the Hermetic law of gender. Okay. And the consequence of having a weak masculine mental energy. Let's stop here. Well, no, let me finish this paragraph. Or did I? Hold on. Where are we on? Okay. So let's continue. The planet, so Mercury, is changeable in nature. That's key. That's very, very important. Mercury is changeable in nature. In other words, Mercury Mercury's character is going to be different. Okay? It can be different in certain situations. So let's go over that. Now, that's not good, in my opinion, in terms of the religious aspect. If you're caught in the religious dogma vibration, that's not good. Why? Because Mercury is the judge. Mercury is the judge, right? Mercury is the judge who's going to judge if you go to heaven or hell. If you die and get no resurrection, or if you die and you get a resurrection. Okay? So in other words, this is Jesus. Jesus is changeable. That's what this is saying. Okay? Religiously, religiously. Okay, that's a negative aspect of it. But let's continue. Mercury is changeable in nature. If aspect is well of other planets, if aspect is well with the other gods, right? There are 5 planets, 2 luminaries, total of 7. Mercury is good. So Mercury's nature is good in that case. If evilly aspected, and especially of evil planets, Mercury is evil. So, y'all see, Mercury's nature can change depending on who he's hanging with, depending on how he's aspected, right? Mercury rules over astrologers, inventors, teachers, students, bookkeepers, booksellers. So these are what? Messages are conveyed in books, thoughts are conveyed in books, right? Astrologers, so thinking, literacy, right? All of this has something to do with literacy. Astrologers read the stars. You can read the star and then you can prophesy. Pass the message. This is what the star said, and now I'm going to give you the message. Okay? The heavenly bodies are for signs and seasons. Okay? So let's continue. Secretaries, letter writers, typewriters, book printers, and publishing of books, traveling salesmen and saleswomen. That means you're communicating. You got to give people a reason to buy something. Okay? You got to sell them, meaning you have to give them a reason, a compelling reason to buy from you at that moment. All right? So that's intelligence and that's communicating, right? That's messages. All manner of subtle art, depending on much thought over stocks when issued and certificates. Now I should have stopped because this is the part I wanted to get to, and this part might take long. Over stocks when issued and certificates, deeds, bonds, bond, bondage, sinner, debtor. Y'all see it? Vassal, bondman, bondwoman, 14th Amendment, corporate citizen, Civiliter mortuus, dead status. So let me go over some things. This is the print might. Let me get another one. The print on this one is too small. Give me one second, y'all. So let's just look at a few basic things, just to see some terminology. Uh, Give me a moment. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is a affidavit of fact. No. This comes from the Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. Okay, consular jurisdiction and venue. So let me show y'all this. This was filed on November 12th, 2020. It has the clerk of the Circuit Court of Montgomery County, Maryland. Y'all see the stamp? So y'all can check these records. Y'all can go to this website, the Circuit Court of Montgomery County. Pause the video on the replay, and y'all can go check these records. If you don't see them in their records, you can call them, because I don't know if they have taken it out of their records. You may have to call. Okay, so y'all see that? All right. So let's see. The complainant, judgment creditor, is Lamont Maurice Butler L., Aboriginal Moorish American. So that's the status. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, sprung from the soil, thought made manifest from the land, therefore the rightful heir. Okay, the rightful heir. It's a well-established principle in law that land is the substance and subject matter of the law. Land and moors are synonymous. Go check it in the Black's Law Dictionary. You will see that, therefore, moors are the substance and subject matter of the law. Therefore, whatever you say is the law. Therefore, whatever you say can and will be used against you. Okay? And they need consent. Aboriginal Moorish American national and rightful heir of Maghreb al-Aqsa, the furthest north, Morocco at North America by just sanguinis, in full life, in propria persona sui juris, authorized rep, XREL, and then we get the all caps, which is the capitis diminutio maxima, I think in the Roman terms, which is the ens legis. Okay, y'all take a look at that. So that's his status. The first issue in law is status. All right. So that's why you see it there. We're talking about bondage. So let's flip over. And I'm just randomly picking this information. So let's take a look here. This is page 4 of 11. So Christopher Hendricks, look at what it says here. Christopher Hendricks, nationality unknown, 14th Amendment stateless person, acting as armed highway, private, corporate, commercial, mercenary, 14th Amendment citizen. Y'all see that? So that's bondage. Okay, so 14th Amendment citizen, that's property of the corporate United States. So this is an example of bondage or bond. Okay, let's continue. What did I want to show? Hold on. And of course, all of this, y'all, all of this happening is commerce. All of this is commerce. They're doing what? They're trading stocks and bonds, specifically bonds. Also, in the even if it's like a one of the big corporations, let's say GE, right? They have bonds. The bonds can convert to stock. Well, not just GE, but it's in finance. Bonds can be converted into stocks. Just depends on the terms, right? And there's a bond market, right? There's the bid bond. What else? I don't. Let me see if I can remember. The bid bond, the performance bond. I think there's one other. I don't remember. But these are people who go through the de facto court system. What's happening behind the scenes? Okay, so we're dealing with bonds right there. Okay, and of course these bonds, uh, after a period of time, they get converted into assets. In other words, they get monetized, to use modern language. Hold on. Let me see. Let's find a writ that has to do with deeds and mortgages. Ah, here we go. Okay. So here we are. This is an affidavit of fact filed on June 11, 2020, in the Circuit Court of Montgomery County. Adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate. Adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate. Y'all see that? Y'all see it? So at some point in the timeline, at some point in the past, uh, this person, who is this? Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. At some point in time, this not ancestor, but this Moors, one of his ancestors, got a turn, right? Has cheated everything from him, and now he's stepping up. I'm not gonna. We don't have time for me to go into the treaty, but he's stepping up as a rightful heir. Okay, to get his. Well, hold on. Let me show it. Let me show it. I'm trying to make this as rich as I can. Um, so those of you who are familiar with this, please be patient, because a lot of people, this is new and they don't have a clue. They never heard of any of this stuff before. Okay, so this is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1836, between the Moroccan Empire and the United States of North America. This is a certified stamp copy of it from the Library of Congress. Y'all can pause that and read it. All right. So here you can see the stamp, January 2nd, no, January 28th, 1991. Y'all see the stamp from the Library of Congress? Pause it on the replay and you can read it. All right. So here you see the seal. Pause it on the replay so you can read it. This is the actual treaty. Okay, so y'all can see the title and the articles. So let's go to the article uh, that we're talking about. Remember that the topic now is adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate. And this is telling you uh, why no one wants to admit and publish that our nationality is Moorish Americans, or that we are the ascendants of the Moroccan Empire. Here's why. It's because of land, heritability. Okay? Whose land is it? That's the issue. If you're black, you ain't got nothing. The print is so small, y'all. Give me. Okay, so it's Article 22. So I'm going to read this, okay? Well, I hope y'all can see it. Hold on. It's Article 22. Can y'all see that? But again, you can download this from the website enforcetheconstitution.org. Okay, all of the documents I'm showing, I got off of enforcetheconstitution.org. Okay, so Article 22. If an American citizen, if an American citizen shall die in our country, so that would be a civil death or physical death, right? Either one. And no will shall appear. The council, CONSUL, shall take possession of his effects, shall take possession of your inheritance, your property, and that would include your consort and your heirs, your babies, your wife or wives, whatever your situation is. And if there shall be no counsel, CONSUL, if there shall be no counsel, let's go back to the affidavit of fact. I'm sorry, not to the affidavit of fact. Let's go back to the document that we just looked at. Oh, there's another one. I didn't see that. Hold on. Y'all remember where it said, do you guys remember where it said consular, Morocco consular court, jurisdiction, and venue? Do y'all remember that? Let me try to find that again. Here we are. No, it's not it. Hold on. Well, doesn't matter. I found another one. We can just use this one. Hold on. So this is in a writ of error. Y'all see Morocco consular court? The authority of this is the treaty that I'm going through right now, the said treaty, Article 22. Morocco consular court, Morocco consular court, and this one happens to be at what? At Maryland. At Maryland State Republic. It cannot be in, right? Cannot be in because this only exists on paper, so you're at. All right. Then what does it say, scholars? What does it say? Consular jurisdiction and venue. Consular law language and venue. All right, y'all? This is what we're dealing with. Okay. So where are we? So here we go. Let's continue. Article 22 continue. And if there shall be no counsel, the effects, the property that would include your heirs and your consort, shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust. In the hands of some person worthy of trust, if there is no counsel. So the U.S. gave up its right, its treaty right to consular jurisdiction in 1954 or 56, one of those years. I need to check it. So they don't have a consular. They don't have consular jurisdiction anymore. So they don't have consular venue anymore. So they put it in the hands of who? Either the tax assessor or the attorney general, or maybe both. I don't know. You have to check it wherever you're at. Okay. So they put the property in the hands of someone worthy of trust, who happens to be whoever is acting as the head person uh, in the tax assessment department, or who's ever acting as the attorney general. But check it wherever you are. Okay? So they're holding your effects. Let's continue. So the mystery is gone. We know where our stuff is in their records, right? Now let's continue. The effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust. So this would be a natural person, right? Are they worthy of trust? No, they're not worthy of trust. Why? Because a Republican form of government was ordained, but they're doing a democracy. So now they're not even worthy of trust. Now, that's my opinion. Of course, that's my opinion. Other people may have a different opinion, but I'm just telling you my opinion. Okay? Because if they're going along with the scam, then they're not trustworthy. They're deceitful, deceivers. Y'all see it? Or what? Devils. Okay? And even Satan, right? Because they're opposite. Remember the Hermetic law of polarity, the law of opposites, right? Okay. So let's continue. The effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust until the party shall appear, until the more shall appear. Oh, shall appear? Wait. Let's go back. Let's go back to the document filed in the Morocco consular court. Give me 1 second. Until the parties shall appear. Let's look at this. I should have kept my finger on it, yo. Well, let's look at this case filed on June 17th, 2022. Well, no, let's look at this is in the Morocco consular court. Hold on. Let's look at let's find a affidavit of fact filed in um, in their records, the de facto court records. Okay, so here we go, y'all. Take a look. When was this file? I'm looking for the time for the file stamp. Hold on. I don't see the file stamp on this one, so I'm not going to use it. Let me look for one that has a stamp. Give me 1 second. Here's one that has a stamp. Okay, affidavit of fact, adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate, Exhibit C, Shelby County Chancery Court, December 21, 2020. Y'all see the stamp in their venue? Y'all see that? Take a look. Pause the video so y'all can look at this. Okay, now remember, until the party arrives. Let me say it again. Article 22 reads, the council shall take possession of his affairs, and if there is no council, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust until the party shall appear who has right to demand them, who has right to demand them. So here's the right. Let's go through this. Uh, so I'm going to read through just a little bit of this, y'all. This is page 2 of 12. Page 2 of 12. Y'all see it? Pause it. Pause it on the replay. So here we go. Until the party shall arrive who has the legal right or who has the right to it. So here's what it reads. Establishing right. I, Nadine Bachelor L. So the title L ties us back to the land as Moorish Americans, right? El or Il, actually the ancient pronunciation is Il. So the Ils, the Owls, the Bays, the Days, and the Alis. These are the 5 titles. And these are birthrights. No one can give you permission to use it. No one can deny you your right to use it. So I, Nadine Bachelor L. So now she's tied back to the land, tied back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Sui juris, an Aboriginal and Indigenous Moorish American sovereign national of the continental Americas in the Moroccan Empire, being of legal age, being the age of majority. Okay, after being duly affirmed according to law, hereby dispose and state the following. I am one of the surviving consanguinity heiresses apparent of the late ancient Moabites, modernly known as Morocco, or Moroccans rather, from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Kemet to settle and inhabit North America, to inhabit Northwest Africa, a Mexim. Let's skip down. Number 2, my political status and Class A1 citizenship as an indigenous Moorish American sovereign national and direct descendant of the ancient Moabites, the ancient Moroccans, is recognized under registration number copyright AA 222141, Class A, with the Clock of Destiny, Moorish Americans National Identification Card, and Zodiac Constitution recorded September 10, 1952 in the Library of Congress, Copyright Office, Washington, District of Columbia, and the United States Department of Justice. Number 3, remember the treaty. Remember the treaty. Go back to 22. If an American citizen shall die in our country, and no will shall appear, the council shall take possession of his effects. Now let's continue. Number 2, my Moabite ancestors died intestate and retain reversionary interest in the lands. Now you must look up land in a law dictionary, because land is not just the soil. One of the meanings of land is moors. And the reality that a lot of people don't like, and they especially don't want you to know, is that land is the substance and subject matter of the law. That's a well-established principle in law. Land is the substance and subject matter of the law. Therefore, mores are the substance and subject matter of the law. This explains why they put you in a stateless person status and why they tried to make you lose all knowledge of who you are. I'm talking about your nationality. This is why they call you black, Negro, black, colored, and it's changing. Why? To create confusion, to disorient you in your mind and in time and space, so that you will never know that you are a Moor. Because if you know that you are a Moor, it means that you know that you are the substance and subject matter of the law. In other words, when you speak, connotatively speaking, God has spoken. My Moabite ancestors died intestate and retained reversionary interest in the lands and resources of the Moroccan Empire. Land and resources. Ooh, I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But it has to do with resources, human resources. Who are the humans? Ah, Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 and 6, etc., 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 etc. I didn't say it. They say it. I didn't coin the term human resources or define it. Han Uman. All right, y'all? So they died intestate and retained reversionary interest in the land and resources of the Moroccan Empire at North America, which foreign European colonists presently occupy and use in user funk. See, now that's going back to the astrology, the astrotheology, user funk. As a matter of fact, y'all, let me show y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me try to pull this up really quickly. See, now I hope you see why there's so much opposition anytime you bring up more. People want to make you seem crazy and like a criminal. Why? Because they're trying to psych you out of your birthright. Give me 1 second. Oh no, hold on. I don't want that's Wikipedia. Hold on. So y'all, when y'all get a chance, look this up in Black's Law Dictionary or another law dictionary, okay? Usufruct. Usufruct. Y'all read that? Can y'all see it? Read that? Okay, is it clear what's happening? Is it clear what's happening? Do you see Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68 all over this? Do y'all see Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 68? Usurphone. What use hold on. Usufruct. Usufruct. Law. The legal right to use someone else's property temporarily and to keep any profit made from it. to use someone's property temporarily and to keep any profit from it. So, what's their motive? Well, they want to keep on using your property. They want to keep on using all your resources. They want to keep on using you and making a profit. Making a profit off of you in bondage. Is this not Deuteronomy chapter 28, what we often call the curses, y'all, or the punishments? Or more specifically, the loss of birthright and nobility? Is it not? Is it not? Do y'all see their motive now? That's why they got you in the color status. That's why they got you under the black codes. That's why they're hitting you uh, with psychological operations all the time, hitting you with bills of attainders all the time. That's why. All right. That's why there's so much animosity built into the culture: envy, jealousy, animosity, distrust, engineered into the culture of the black people. Why? Because they want to keep on using your stuff. They want to maintain their feudalism system, masquerading as democracy. Masquerading as democracy. Does everyone see? Let's continue. Let's see if we can get a better definition. Okay, y'all go to the Black's Law Dictionary. Y'all can get more on that on your own. Okay, now let's continue going. Let's continue with this. So the foreign European colonists presently occupy and use in usufruct while exercising feudal law practices de facto as citizens of the United States under the expired 50-year mandate, i.e., that's what we're reading now, y'all. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836, enforced uh, from 1837 between the United States of North America and the Empire of Morocco, which superseded the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787, which is before uh, 1791, between the United States of America and His Imperial Majesty the Emperor of Morocco. This treaty is part of the supreme law of the land per the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution for the United States of North America, Article 6, Clause 2, and Article 25 of this treaty avers the duration of such occupation as follows. So I'm not going to read Article 25. Y'all can read that on your own. I'll give you a reason that everyone should go to enforcetheconstitution.org and download these writs and the treaty. Okay? And let me tell y'all something. Well, let's finish this. I'll come back to it. Number four. Per my right, under Article 22 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1836 between the United States of North America and the Empire of Morocco, and in accordance with the international law provisions of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous, y'all, we've been talking about indigenous for how many classes? Aboriginal, ab meaning forefather, the first people, the autochthonous people. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, man. In contradistinction between Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, Dahan Uman, I am competent to make claim to my inherited, ancestral estate. That's bloodline, that's nationality, that's civics. In reversion to my inherited ancestral estate, in reversion as a surviving rightful heiress apparent, which is being held in trust de facto. Y'all see that? Right out of the treaty, right? By the foreign corporate state of Tennessee, Inc., or Incorporated, and subsidiaries as excheated fee simple feudalism property. Okay, so the property was a term and it's cheated. Okay, under color of law, within the purview of the plausible 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, per stare decisis law, and then I'm not going to go there. Y'all go get that yourself. All right, so let me read Article 22 again and keep everything that we just discussed in mind. Article 22 of the treaty. If an American citizen shall die in our country, so that would be a physical death or a civil death, and no will shall appear. Our ancestors died intestate. Moors are Americans, right? The council shall take possession of his effects, of his estate, his property, corporal and incorporeal. And if there shall be no council, the effects shall be deposited in the hands of some person worthy of trust. So we went through that in this writ. Let's continue. In this affidavit of fact. Let's continue. Uh, it's really difficult, y'all. But, okay. Until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. And she proved that. Y'all see it? She proved it. But if the heir to the person deceased be present, the property shall be delivered to him or her without interruption. That means now, immediately, no excuses, no delays. And if a will shall appear, the property shall descend agreeably to that will. All right, so this is why we need to have our own trust, right? Our own private trust. And there are examples of trust, well, not examples, but there are trust memorandums in here. Okay, everyone can get it and examine it. You should. And he continues, or the treaty continues. But if the heir to the person deceased be present, and our sister here shows that she's present in full life, sui juris, right? And she ain't no foreigner, okay? She has a blood right, a birthright, and she proved it. Now let's continue. The effect shall be deposited into the hands of some person worthy of trust until the party shall appear who has a right to demand them. Adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Y'all read it. Deuteronomy chapter 30. You should read it. But if the heiress to the person deceased be present, the property shall be delivered to him or her without interruption, and if a will shall appear, the property shall be descended agreeably to that will as soon as the council, consular jurisdiction and venue, as soon as the council shall declare the validity thereof. Okay, y'all? All right? So I'm getting this from the Astrology of the Old Testament, which is our course textbook, or The Lost Word Regained, published in 1892. The author is Carl Anderson. We are on page 161. All right, we're talking about Mercury. Mercury rules over astrologers, inventions, teachers, students, bookkeepers, and booksellers, secretaries, letter writers, affidavit of fact writers, Moors who write affidavits of fact, typewriters, book printers, and publishing of books, traveling salesmen, saleswomen, all manner of subtle art, all manner of subtle art. Maybe he's talking about paintings. Maybe he's talking about statues. Maybe he's talking about what? The magic arts, not black magic. Well, we can say black magic too. But do y'all know the physics, engineering, all of the sciences, this could be considered magic? Magic to who? Magic to someone who's ignorant of those sciences. Wow, how did he do that? How is he using this? How is he talking to somebody on the phone? How is he watching a video? Oh, he must be a devil because look at that thing he has in his hand. It's talking. Or I see people. I see people in there. Oh, he's of the devil. He's Satan. Y'all see it? Looks like magic to ignorant people, people who are unlearned. Okay? So the subtle arts. What are the subtle arts? Do y'all know that hypnosis is an art? Psychiatry can be a subtle art. The patient doesn't know what you're doing, right? Even a counselor, what let's say a marriage counselor or something, or a psychologist. Yeah, average patient or client, they don't know what you're doing. They don't see what you are indirectly doing and leading them to, or waiting for them to discover on their own. This could be considered a subtle art. Okay, y'all. And if you're on the religious vibration, you might think that that's of the devil because you don't know the science. Excuse me. I hope it's clear. All manner of subtle arts depending on much thought. Engineering can be considered an art. Medicine is definitely an art, right? That's why they say practice medicine, because it's an art. Let's continue. Mercury rules over stocks when issue and certificates, deeds, bonds, and all manner of writing. All manner of writing. Would not that include legal ease, y'all? Wouldn't it include legal ease? Deeds, bonds, certificates, usurpunk, feudalism, deceit, architects, actors. Okay. So, for example, let's go back to. So, y'all, I'm trying to give this. Context in life. Show you how it really happens, or how you can see it in everyday life. So, for example, let's go back to the same uh, affidavit of fact. Okay, let's go back to the same one. So, affidavit of fact, adverse claim of title and reversion of ancestral estate. Shelby County Chancellor Court, December 21. The year is 2020. There's a timestamp. Okay, so it says here, Walter L. Evans, acting as chancellor. Actors, acting as Gregory Gallagher, acting as associate administrative clerk. Okay, so here we see people or beings that are alive, and they're acting as these titles. They're acting as something dead. Y'all see it? So you correlate this with the Greek and Roman plays. Remember we went over that. Well, y'all go read the handbook on trust law. Read the handbook on trust law, and you can get the information about how some of these, how the Greeks put forth how their law system developed, allegedly, according to that handbook. Everything was about plays. You put on a mask, the actor would put on a mask and speak through the mask. And so now the actor becomes the mask. Y'all see it? So that, for example, let's say you're in your conveyance, you're traveling, and then a policy enforcer pulls you over. So now you're in a commercial port, and you are now an actor. And they just assume they have jurisdiction over you. Okay, the role you're playing is a driver. Okay, that's your mask. But anyway, you'll get a much better explanation of that in the Handbook of Trust Law. Okay, y'all just Google search it. I don't remember if his name is Weiss. I don't remember, but y'all Google search it. Okay. All right. So acting as allows or enables a being that is alive to escape liability for their actions. To escape liability for their actions. Okay. So they can do whatever they want to do, and the corporation protects them from personal liability. Okay, if you play that game with them. Okay, so where are we? So Mercury rules over actors, declaimers, and literature, diviners and astronomers, patents applied for and issued, pension papers, all manner of libra, science, merchants, and all mercantile affairs. Messengers traveling. Didn't Jesus travel around y'all through the different districts? And all such persons as do or deal in the above mentioned matters and over will power. Look at that. Remember the Hermetic law of masculine mental energy. Willpower, memory, speech, and reasoning faculties. When ill aspected, Mercury represents fraud. What does this tell us? What does it tell us, y'all? When ill aspected, Mercury represents fraud. What does that tell us? Hmm? What does it tell us about the hybrid troglodytes who are in power? What does it tell us? When ill aspected, Mercury represents fraud. So, forgive me, I'm jumping around. Uh, so this is a case filed in the Morocco Consular Court at Maryland State Republic. It's file stamped June 17th, 2022. Let me show y'all this. Y'all see it? Again, these are all these cases are on enforcetheconstitution.org. Okay, so now this is a writ of error. This is a writ of error. So let me just take you. Here's a memorandum. Give me 1 second. Let's go to the order. So here's the order. Y'all take a look at this. Here's the order. Now, the topic here that we're going to discuss is when Mercury is ill aspected. Mercury represents fraud. So here we go, y'all. It is further ordered and adjudged that the collusive action and de facto administrative proceedings under color of law and case number, it gives a case number, in the records of the Foreign District Court for Charles County Incorporated, including the de facto administrative hearing scheduled for July 14, 2022, and any other attachments associated thereto are what, y'all? Unconstitutional, notwithstanding. So get that the hell out of here. Notwithstanding, you ain't got no right to bring that in here. Notwithstanding, unconstitutional, null and void ab initio, null and void from the start, and are unenforceable, Remember the three powers of government: the judicial, legislative, and executive. The executive branch enforces and are unenforceable. Why? Due to or for lack of jurisdiction and what, y'all? And fraud. For lack of jurisdiction and fraud. And that's the commonality across all of them. Okay? Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, so when ill aspected, Mercury represents fraud, cheating, and petty thievery. Y'all see it? Swindling. Is it is it uh is it USC 1508? Let that marinate now come back to it. I don't know if that's correct. Falsity, false accounts, as in like false financial accounts, false accounts, embezzlements, breaches of trust, right? They have a constitutional duty and obligation and they don't do it. Cheatery and trouble of all kinds by the before mentioned. Mercury rules over mines and quicksilver and cinnabar, And for Cinnabar, there should be an aspect of Mercury and Mars at the same time. Mercury's color is the soft pearl or dove color, or the pale azure blue, the lilac. Mercury denotes a very attractive, a very active person, one never idle, often even busy about matters of no importance, always studious, rather fond of being alone, delighting in the seashore and beaches, and in view in boundless deserts, of a retiring disposition and bashful. Mercury's strength lies in Gemini and Virgo. Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors. I self law am Master Shalom.